Today, I'm Peter Parker, and I'm Spider-Man. I'm shooting webs. Go, web, go! Thank you so much for doing this interview. How are you doing, Mike?
How are you, Peter? I'm doing good.
Thank you so much for doing this interview. I want to destroy the myth and the ideas that we have about rich people,
Okay.
and because I come from a very poor background, and a lot of people have this idea about rich people, and also I want my mission in life is now to help law of attraction people to think a different way.
Yeah.
Because I think people in the law of attraction, because there are a lot of law of attraction people who study and they're not getting the results that they want.
Right.
Can you introduce to yourself to the audience, please?
Yeah. So my name is Mike Murphy. I actually live in Northern California. I grew up in Ohio. And so I grew up in America in the 60s when things were good and things were much different, right? Nevertheless, I had an alcoholic home that I grew up in. So it led me to a really bad life of bad habits. And I dropped out of school early, like eighth grade. I ran away ninth grade. Between 14 and 18, I was arrested a half a dozen times. Between 16 and 18, half a dozen automobile accidents, all alcohol related. So long story short, I woke up at age 23, married with a 2-month-old baby and really no future, and was living with her wife's parents and her 5 siblings, and realized that my life was a total mess, loss. And as typical in my life, I just ran away. And then when I wanted to come back, she said no. So that was the first time someone said I couldn't come back. And so that led me to a life of searching for the truth, which led me to a man I refer to as the mystery man that taught me this law of attraction process, but he taught it in a way I've never seen taught before. And I created great wealth and great health and great love in my life using this procedure. And, and I just had a beautiful life. And then long story short, fast forward to 2011, my second wife died of breast cancer, and which devastated me and changed everything about my life, my destiny. And since then, my entire life has been devoted to helping people less fortunate, and one, to understand this process of law of attraction, but I also do it more practical means where I support a lot of women below the poverty line with cancer, and do a lot of other charitable works to just help people. So that's really my motive, my passion in life right now, is to love and serve those less fortunate. And by doing so, shift the consciousness into this world from negative to positive, and from fear and hate to love and acceptance. And hopefully, as the world falls apart on one level, we usher in a new way of living based on spiritual principles.
Right. Thank you so much for that. I'm so sorry, but for your loss. And
Thank
I
you.
listened to your interview on Larry King, and thank you for inspiring us, to become better. And you read your book. Actually, this is what I want you to talk about too, not just stuff. Why did you create what was it, the creation frequency?
Yeah. So the creation frequency is all about what the mystery man taught me, that literally, if we can tap into this energy, this vibration, this frequency, or what I call the one infinite mind, the creator of all, and we move from our head into our heart where the truth resides. It's easy to brainwash people and get them to believe stuff that's not true. It's difficult to fool their feelings, right? So when we trust our feelings, we live in our heart, we trust our feelings, and we write our intentions from this place of what we desire in the physical world. Then by using the power of our mind, our thoughts, and our emotions, and we write an intention and as if it already exists. And what I teach in my book, and I've created an online course that I'm happy to give away for free. I've created an app that's already free on iTunes and Google Play. So you write these intentions, you download the app, you record them in your own voice, and we've embedded the app with high frequency music. You listen every morning, every night. Literally, your world will start to change. And I'll tell you why, the biggest reason. Right now, your subconscious mind, my subconscious mind, is taking in over 1 million bits of information every second, and then delivers to our conscious mind 40 bits of information every second out of a million. So the supercomputer is going boom, 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 and giving us these 40 bits of information that it thinks we want based on our self-talk, what we tell other people, how we treat ourselves, how we treat other people. And until we get clear and start telling the subconscious mind what it is we truly desire, then it will start delivering the things that will bring that into our life. And the online course takes about 6-7 hours to complete, but I explain this in detail, why this process works, how you can access it, and how you can learn to use it to create a much better life.
Right. Thank you so much for that. Can you tell things about rich people that people like misunderstand about rich people, because you say you give?
Yeah. So, well, one of the things I think that us humans do is we tend to generalize people. And so, first of all, I don't even know what rich is anymore. The way I live in the San Francisco Bay Area, where, if you make $1 million a year, you're not even rich here. So I don't know what rich is. And, there's all types of rich. And then more importantly, there's financial riches, right? But I don't see that making very many people happy. I think to be rich in spirit and to be rich in knowledge, to me, and wisdom, knowledge and wisdom is what I try to become rich in. And when you're rich in that, I've never had a problem manifesting money. Money is currency, energy. And, that's one of the easiest things for me to manifest and create. Yeah.
How would one manifest money if they want to? Like, what would they have to do?
Well, first of all, I mean, it's, how much money? Okay. If you say to me, I want to manifest money, first thing I say, how much? Okay. And then the second thing I say, what are you going to do with it? Why? What is your why? I mean, it always comes back. What's your why? What are you going to do with it? And then we can work, and then I can show you how to write an intention. Once I interview you and get some questions answered, I'll teach you how to write this intention where money will flow to you. It's that simple.
Right.
But I need to know more information, right?
Right. Thank you so much. Well, for me, how I start with the law of attraction is by 2013. I was spiritually awakened. I was going through a dark time when my ex broke up with me in 2011. You probably heard of the Dark Night of the Soul.
Yep.
And what happened is I went through that, and I went through what I call it the shattered glass, that the world around us is just an illusion within our mind that we created. And and what happened is I had a therapist. She showed me self-fulfilling prophecy, and I start changing my beliefs or my mind, and I start changing the way my mood is, and I would see different weird coincidence happen around me, and I would notice that 2013, that's where I found out the law of attraction and the secret, and I start playing around with the secret, and I say, wow, I can manifest this thing, but it's not fully manifest, right? Like, because I interviewed many experts for the law of attraction. But you said you use knowledge and wisdom, right?
Yeah.
So many law of attraction people don't, because you listen to Brian Tracy,
I have a long time ago.
right? I believe his truth say he in one of his seminar he say with Brandon Burchard, he's like knowledge and skill. And that's what I'm trying to my message for law of attraction also, because you said knowledge. You read a lot?
Well, okay. So yes. So, and I was 20, how old was I? 25 years old or so when I met the mystery man. And up to that point, I didn't read much. But after he taught me this process, this law of attraction in a very unique way, I've read every book on law of attraction, manifestation, Think and Grow Rich, The Secret, you name it. Almost every book ever written, I've read about this process. So I believe I'm an expert in this ability to, one, do it myself personally, and secondly, now be able to teach it in a way. And that's why I created this online course where we go very deep into how this works. And I think for me, a lot of the problems that I see with some of the law of attraction promotion, I shall say, it's oversold. It's oversold like it's all you got to do is, think what you want and it will show up. Well, it's not that simple in my mind. And we do live in a field of infinite possibility. Therefore, anything is possible. But the problem is we have to break through this programming in our mind that's very thick and deep, because we're programmed from the minute we're born until we wake up to believe what they want us to believe. And so let's say, so I'm 60 years old, and let's say I want to be quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers next year. Well, odds are that's not possible. I do think it is possible, but it's never going to get through my conscious mind, my programming, into my subconscious mind, where we can bring the plan or the intention into the physical reality. So we have to be a little careful of understanding how the mind works and the programming of the mind, and then write these intentions so that they will get through the conscious mind into the subconscious mind. Now the subconscious mind can deliver to the conscious mind what it takes to bring this into fruition. So you mentioned in your life, that you started doing this, and certain things would show up, right? That weren't coincidences, because your subconscious mind is giving you that information, taking these million bits of information we take in every second, and giving to you those things that you're focused on now. It's mechanically, it's called a reticular activating system in our brain, right? But I deal more. I try to break through of the body and the thoughts and the five senses, right? And get into the spiritual, which is energy, vibration, and frequency, because I believe that's where the real power is in the unseen world. And that's where we come from. So.
Right. Thank you so much for that. Because the thing is, I look up to this guy a lot. His name is Bob Proctor. Have you ever?
Yeah. So yeah. I mean, I love Bob Proctor. I love his work. I've read his books, and he's right on the money.
Yes. And oftentimes, like, because I notice, I observe a lot. Because people don't take personal action, because every time I listen to my intuition, or I take personal action, things would show up. But because there are some people who would say they will wait, but I always hear Bob Proctor that you should, if you want your dream to happen, nothing happened for you. You have to take, you have to go for it. And
yeah, but totally agree. But the first action we need to take is to get crystal clear on what it is we desire, right? And once we're there, that's the hardest thing for most people. And so I have processes in my course that people exercises where they can get clear on that. And then most importantly, the action for me is to write that intention. And then the next action for me is to record that intention, and then listen every morning, every night. Then the steps necessary to get me to that ultimate realization of that physical reality, those things start to show up, like you were saying. They just start to appear. So the old saying, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. And so I think that's true, but we got to get crystal clear. And you mentioned intuition, right? And our intuition is in our gut. That's why they call it gut instinct, right? That's the same intuition is that, why birds fly south and whales go north and south, and to feed and to birth. And so this is where, they've ruined our guts here with GMOs and glyphosate, and they've clouded up our pineal gland, our intuition into the spiritual world, and our instincts here in the physical world. And they got us living in this fear-based head programming, which that's why television is called programming. And so they program us with fear, and then every 12 or 15 minutes they sell us something, because we don't like the state of fear. And we're in this continuous loop of searching for stuff that will never fulfill us. And we get stuck chasing that.
Yeah, I do agree with that. Most I read in the book, what's it, Guerrilla Marketing? They companies are really smart. They sell you on your subconscious mind. But
exactly.
Yeah, and it's our subconscious mind is pretty powerful. How, when you were on, because when you were on Larry King, how did you feel when he interviewed you?
Well, first of all, I wasn't on Larry King live. It was an interview in his new studio down in Burbank, so whatever he's doing now. And Well, first of all, I've been a fan of Larry King my entire life because I used to listen to him on the radio before he was on TV. And what I love about his interview style is that he actually listens to people and he asks really good follow-up questions. So what I think I was probably with him 25 minutes or so. You have to always be on your toes with him because you never know where he's going to go. And he asks really good questions and he really listens. And I think he's just a genuinely curious person that gets paid a lot of money to ask people questions, right? Because he's mastered that. He's a real pro.
Right. Okay. Thank you so much for that. Um, as for because you were talking about programming, it's basically the Matrix. You probably see the Matrix,
Yes,
and
sir.
like people are living in the dream world, and and people get
Until they're not. Until they're not.
yeah.
So that's interesting, right? So I mean, I'll be honest with you. There's moments in my life, far and few between, but there are actual moments I go, man, if I just would have stayed with the blue pill, I wouldn't be suffering right now. Because when you take that red pill and you start to wake up and you really look, this is what I think. I hate to judge or project, but a lot of spiritual teachers just teach the spiritual and and ignore the world. And so it's impossible for me to ignore the suffering in the physical world, and these innocent women and children, especially. And, and so that brings pain, right? So when you see suffering and you start to explore why, and you go down the rabbit hole deeper and deeper and deeper, the deeper you get, the more evil you see, right? And so it's easy. It wouldn't be easy for me, but I can see why people want to turn a blind eye to evil and just focus on the all the good. But I can't, because I really believe as long as someone's suffering, I mean, really suffering, innocent people, then I feel like I need to do whatever I can to help alleviate that in the world.
Right. That's why I see a lot of pain in the law of attraction. I can't let that go by anymore. I want it to create change. So
Yeah.
that's why
But you say you see pain in the law of attraction because I didn't experience pain because of the law of attraction. I started experiencing pain because I wanted to know what was wrong with this world. Why was there a 9/11? Why are there all these school teachings, shootings? Why are these assassinations? Why are these wars? And then when you start digging down into that, then that leads you into the banksters and the money and the powers to be, and now you're caught in between, right? And so it's but I'm curious how the law of attraction causes suffering as opposed to the realities of this world that we live in.
well, I can tell you, but yeah, that's yeah, I can't bear to watch many people, get hurt and die. But no, it's because people would believe in the law of attraction or the secret, and I would watch. I built a YouTube channel before, and I wanted because YouTube is great video marketing place for to get the knowledge out there, and I would see like folks who would listen to their the authority, and then they would not use the law of attraction to live their dream, right? Because there will be people who I see online would talk about the law of attraction, but they're not really attracting their dream, or they're manifesting and they're suffering inside and they don't want to believe anymore.
Okay, so here's what I would suggest to you, that every single person is using the law of attraction, whether they know it or not, to create their physical reality. So what do I mean? So, for example, when you're a baby, okay, you learn to cry when you're hungry. And then you hit 10, 11 months and you learn to crawl. So you're seeing what's going on in the world, and now you're manifesting this crawling. Then you manifest walking, and then you manifest talking, right? And so you're creating this with your thoughts and your emotion on one level, not as deeply as you get older, but you are manifesting. And so then we get through high school or whatever. we're still creating our physical reality based on what we think about and based on what we feel. We're vibrating. That creates a vibrational energy, and we attract that vibrational energy. That's why we like people that are like us, and we don't like people that aren't like us, right?
Right.
We create this vibrational energy. And so what I say to people, you're already doing this process, but you're not doing it consciously. For example, I grew up believing that to be successful and happy in America, I need to make a lot of money. Okay. Nothing could be further from the truth, but that was my programming belief system. So I went out and did that, and I realized that doesn't make me happy. But I was programmed to do that. And then, but now I create these intentions from my heart that are going to fulfill me and make my life on purpose, right? And so that's what fulfills us, is creating a life where we're constantly learning and growing and then loving and serving others. And that's where we can reap these amazing blessings and benefits, and live a just a not I don't want to say an easier life, because life is difficult, but we're going to live a much better life, and we're going to become a much better version of ourselves when we understand this process.
Right. As I start to do interview with expert, I become happier. When
Yeah.
I do,
Well, because
you
you're
know,
learning, you're growing, right? And see, in this world, the way I see it, we're either living or we're dying, So if we're living, we're growing. We're green, we're growing, we're moving forward, we're evolving spiritually, emotionally, mentally, physically. But if we're not, you can only tread. If I drop you in the Pacific Ocean today, you can only tread water for a short period of time. Then you're either going to swim or drown. And so a lot of people like to just sleepwalk through life. But eventually life will wake them up one way or the other. It might be cancer. It might be the loss of a loved one. It could be the loss of their pet, a million things. But life has a way of waking us up to what life is really about. And I really believe that we live in such a selfish, greedy, me environment that we've lost our heart and our soul. And we've lost our connection. All this electronic stuff, people living in the same house, texting each other is pretty funny, right? But that's what's going on. We're losing that community, and I think that's what's gone in America, especially. I also live in Colombia, and in Colombia, it reminds me of America in the 1960s, where there's hope. I have 4 kids here. I don't see they don't have the same opportunity that I have. My grandkids have very little hope in the future of this, what's happening here in this country. If I go to Colombia, it's like being here in the 60s. They've been at war for 60 years. It's over. They're excited. They're happy. There's hope. And there's family. Family is their number one, most important thing there. And I think we've lost that here in America.
well, yeah. I think it's also because I hear what you talk about the school system. I disagree with the school system because I was in the special education and they label me as a
Right.
special
Right.
education. But I would
Right.
be reading all these books and it like wake me up and I was like, what's going on? It's terrible.
Yeah. Well, I'll
Yeah.
give you my thoughts on that. One, it's not an education system. It's an indoctrination system. It's a
Right.
programming system. And all they're trying to do is spit out people that will work for them, right? But they don't teach you how to think. And the reason you were labeled that, you're probably more genius than anybody in the classroom, but your mind, your way of learning, there's 3 ways to learn, right? We learn through hearing, we learn by seeing, or we learn by feeling. And so if you're a person that learns by feeling and they're just feeding you bullshit, and you're awake and you're smart and you're conscious, you're going to realize what's going on. So I realized that in the 8th grade. I said, this is bullshit. I'm not going to play this game. And I just quit going. And they don't like that, by the way. But all my education has come from either my own experience or from reading lessons from other people in books.
How many? Is it true that rich people have like a library?
Well, I have one. I probably have 5,000 books, I would imagine.
Jesus Christ.
I try not to buy as many physical books now because when you move, that's a lot of work moving all those books. So I buy most of them on my Kindle now. But for me, I would be nowhere if it weren't from reading books. I'd be absolutely nowhere in life.
Yeah, a lot of people discredit books. I owe all to like understanding my brain, my subconscious, and my perception, my world, because of due to books and all these great teachers that taught us, like Think and Grow Rich and all those
Yeah.
people.
Right.
And, yeah. Um, Here's this question that I always been wanting to speak because I wrote it a long time ago. I wanted to manifest a multimillionaire.
Yeah.
How can we create wealth, keep it, and grow wealth or invest it?
Well, well, I think that once again, I go back. Why do you want wealth? Why do you want to be a millionaire? Okay, so that's question. What's your why, right?
My family.
And okay, so you want to create wealth to give the money to your family.
To live a better life. I wanted to do more than just okay. So to the truth is, I want to be able to what Tony Robbins do, right? Tony Robbins would, he had this book, and he would people would buy his book, and he would feed many family for food, right? He would feed them, and I would be able. I want to do that the same too, and I wanted to
Okay.
create a understanding of wealth because I don't know because people okay so basically we live in this world where we have to go to job, right? We have to go to
Go.
job and basically we have to go to job, but I don't want to. I wanted to create something that I love and create um, money going through so I can help my family out because
Okay.
so
So let's talk about that. So you mentioned Tony Robbins, right?
right.
So what does Tony Robbins say to his audience that if you want to be successful, you do what? He
Model
says,
success.
what say that?
Model success.
Find
Or
somebody that's doing what you want to do and copy them. Okay. And you know what I love about Tony Robbins? Am I allowed to say bad words on this?
it's okay. Go ahead.
I'll abbreviate. So the most truthful thing, smartest thing, most powerful thing I've ever heard Tony Robbins say, and I've listened to a lot of Tony Robbins, is he says, I created this MFer, Tony Robbins. Okay. And he did. Okay. He created that guy, Tony Robbins. And but he knew what he wanted, right? What's his why? He wants to change people's lives. He wants to show people how they can have breakthroughs and go to another level and create more in their life. And he's mastered, the guy frigging mastered the ability to communicate that to people. He's probably the greatest communicator of all time. And then he learned techniques. For example, he learned neuro-linguistic programming. So if you want to create wealth like Tony Robbins, you go learn neuro-linguistic programming. Okay, he mastered it. He uses it like crazy, and it makes him a ton of money. But he helps an enormous amount of people because that's his real why. Now, I'm sure that part of his other why and intention was to create this massive wealth, and which he's done as well. But he's had as many ups as downs as you have. Okay. I remember him speaking about, when he was starting out, all gung ho, and he'd go to an event and there's 8 people there. Okay. I mean, he didn't become Tony Robbins of today overnight. Okay. This guy, he used to work for a guy named Jim Rohn, study the teachings of Jim Rohn. He taught Tony Robbins, right? And then, but where Tony broke from Jim Rohn is this neurolinguistic programming, and he mastered it. And then he also has big balls, this guy. I mean, and he's big to begin with, but the firewalk was ingenious, right? And so, but his content, I mean, his content is brilliant, and the way he delivers it, and okay, and this is where he's 10 times better than I'll ever be, is he's a master marketer, he's a master salesperson, and he's a master closer. But he really wants that money, and for whatever reason, he's probably worth $500 million right now. And I heard him say he wants to be a billionaire. So that's what's driving him, right? At the same time, he feeds an enormous amount of people every Thanksgiving. But I would ask you this: to really consider, do you want to be Tony Robbins? Okay, and because there's only one Tony Robbins. So you need to become the best version of you based on your life experiences, and then create. And then really, look at his content, look at my content, look at Bob Proctor's content, but then really go into contemplation, meditation, and silence and say, okay, now based on this knowledge, based on my own personal experience, how can I, and based on where I want to be in 5 years, if you're clear on that, okay, then how do I bring all this together to get to where I want to be? And but it, it, you have to go into silence and ask good questions and ask for wisdom on how to achieve these things. And what I really believe is then write that intention if it already exists, and you'll be shocked if you go take my course and you read my book and you download the apps and you follow these simple directions, and we talk a year from now, your life will be 50 times further down the road than you thought it would be right now.
Wow. Okay.
But you have to do a little work, right? And what
Yeah.
I see here in America, people don't want to do much work because they just want it handed to them, And you have 50 million people in this country out of 327 million on food stamps. Okay, well, that's just creating a whole belief system of that's going to lead them into further despair, And so, listen, if people legitimately need food stamps to feed their children, I'm not saying anything negative about that, but I'm saying if I'm stuck on food stamps and unemployment, I'm doing myself a disservice if I have the ability to get off of that. But sometimes we become lazy. We've all been there. Hey, shit, if they're going to give me this, I'll keep taking it, right? But you're not. I believe you're doing yourself a disservice if you have the ability to go out and work. Okay, so a lot of people say, well, hell, I'm going to make more money getting food stamps and unemployment than going out and working, so I'm going to just do that. But your self-esteem is going to get diminished, and it's our self-esteem that gives us the balls or the confidence to go out into the world and freaking make a difference, right? And as we get weaker and weaker because people give a shit, we're not exercising our spiritual muscle, our mental muscle, our emotional muscle to get tough and go out there and make shit happen. So it's a double-edged sword, man. It's a slippery slope. So
I do agree with everything you say because the whole system of food stamp they created, because I read in the principle of economics where the reason why people want to it's a drug.
yeah.
It's a kind of like a
But it's
cocaine.
a drug designed by the government to get people to vote for them so they can keep their power over us and not do shit themselves, right? So the whole system's mess. So I'm all about us taking our personal power, okay, right out of Tony Robbins' language, right? But we need to take back our power. We're born into this world. The first thing they tell us, you're born a sinner. Really? What was I doing in there for 9 months, for Christ's sake, to be born a sinner? I mean, my first breath, I'm born a sinner. Okay. So immediately they're taking our power, right? And then we're born into all these systems. We're born into a medical system, into a family system. Then we're placed into an education system, a religious system, a social system, an economic system, an education system. And what do we want? We want to be free. And that's why people are unhappy. That's why there's conflict between here, what they tell us, and what we know is true. And we're not, until we get out of here and get here and really have the balls and the courage to stay here and say, okay, it hurts here, it's painful, I'm lost, I'm confused, someone help me. And the best person to ask for help is the person that created all this. And so how do you access the creator and the information? Silence and asking questions. So every morning I journal, right? I start with gratitude. Thank you for this. Thank you for this. Thank you for this. Then I go to wisdom. Please give me wisdom on this. How can I do this? What should I do here? Blah, blah, blah. And I end in love. So gratitude, wisdom, and love. And every morning. And that keeps me on my path to fulfill my intentions. It's all a mind game, I mean, how old are you?
Right, 27.
Okay. And where do you want to be in 5 years?
That's a good question. I want to do speaking engagement.
Okay.
A best-selling author. I want to be able to travel the world.
Okay.
I want to interview best. Oh, I'm already doing that. CEO, multimillionaire, celebrities. One of my people that I've been trying to get, I want to get attention is People, because there's people who interview like, you know, law of attraction, and I just want to interview who I want to interview, like Power Ranger crew. Um, Jackie Chan is one of them.
Okay,
Jet Li.
so let me just put this in. How much time do we have here, by the way? Because how long?
Um, Maybe 20 more minutes.
Okay, yeah, let's go to the top of the hour. Okay, so I want to work with you a little bit right now. First of all, let me just say, I love your initiative. I love that you reached out to me. I can tell you're very, very sincere in this, and I can tell you know where you want to be and where you want to go. What you need is how to get there, right? And so I'm going to ask you now. So let me tell you what I just heard. Okay, you want to have a big time radio show, and you want to make a lot of money interviewing great people, and therefore you have the freedom to travel all over the world, learn more stuff about the world, and interview more fascinating people and grow your audience, which grows your revenue. So you're totally free and everything is perfect. Is that what I just heard?
Yeah.
Okay.
But also, I wanted to give back because I wrote
Okay. And
to
and what about a family?
yeah, I wrote down I wanted a family. Yeah.
Okay.
I wanted,
So are you in an intimate relationship now?
it's complicated.
Okay. They always are. Okay,
Yeah,
but so you want an intimate relationship. So basically, here's how I look at life. Okay, we have relationships, which is family, children, spouse, whatever that looks like, right? Then we have our career. Okay. Then we have our finances. Then we have our health. And then we have something that we want to learn, you know, whether it's piano or acting or writing a book or whatever you want to write a book. And then we have contribution, right? So I would work with you and I would break each area in this, okay? And I think where you're most of your focus right now because of your age is on your career, right? And so you've picked this very difficult career, okay, to try to break through, right? When everybody and their friggin' brother has a YouTube channel and their whole world is, you know, and it's almost impossible. So now you have to ask yourself, I would guide you to go into your morning meditation. I would encourage you, if you worked with me, I would make you journal every day. And you would ask, okay, Heavenly Father, so I start my day, Heavenly Father, oh man, thank you for this YouTube channel. Thank you for these interviews I've been blessed to do. Thank you for giving me the desire to do this. Thank you for my shelter. Thank you for what I do have. Thank you for this. Then please show me how I can build my career, how I can build this YouTube station, then how I can evolve it into a radio show, and then perhaps a TV show, whatever, and start asking these questions. And you're going to be shocked who shows up, what happens, but you've got to stay. Again, because of, are you American?
yeah, I'm American.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
I'm in the.
so you've been born into this culture that if you want something, you get it now. Okay. You either stick the food in the microwave, it's hot, or you call Domino's and the pizza's here in 30 minutes. You know, we don't ever want to work and wait, you know, like the good old days, right? We want everything now. And so for you is to stay patient, but you need a plan, right? I love your desired outcome. It's beautiful to me. I love it. And I know you can do it. I know you can do it, but you're going to have to learn simple techniques to deliver the plan and the right people and the funding and all this stuff. Okay. But that could be the most beautiful, exciting part of your life. But are you still going to be filled? And so now I'm going to come back. So I think if I accurately describe what your intention is for 5 years from now, pretty much.
Yeah,
Okay. So here's my big question for you. Why?
because a long time ago I hated life,
Okay.
and I wanted back then when I was in um, relationship. I didn't know who I was. I wanted to die.
Yeah.
I and I didn't want people to suffer anymore. I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I wanted to create a YouTube channel, to
Mm-hmm.
deliver value and to be able to make an impact. That's what I want the most.
Yeah.
And
So
that,
what a beautiful, powerful why. That should be your lead in, okay? Because I tell you something, as unique as you think that is, every other son of a gun has had the same feeling and thought in the world. Okay. And the minute you open with that, now everybody's heart's open and they're relating to you. Why? Because we've all been there. Okay. Life is hard. Life is difficult. That's what one thing I don't like about some of the law of attraction teaching in the world. You know, they painted this rosy picture about life. Okay.
Right.
No, life is hard, man. People get sick. Okay. They get food poisoning. They get cancer. They die. Children die. Buses get run or fall off cliffs. I mean, life is friggin' difficult. And but it doesn't mean it's not winnable, right? It's just understanding how to play this game in this physical reality, because we come from such a bigger source, in the spirit world, man. We understand that world, but now we're stuck in this physical body, in this physical matrix, whatever the hell it is, right? So it's learning to play this game without wanting to kill ourselves. And when we do, having the ability and the technique to get out of that. But now you can reach, and your generation, my youngest daughter's your age, right? So I have 27, 30, 31, 38-year-old kids, right? And then I have 5 grandkids. And I see little hope in this country for my grandkids. My kids are a little further along. I mean, they're never going to create what I created. They can't, but it doesn't exist. That ability to create what I created here doesn't exist in the physical business world, right? Doesn't mean it can't be done, but you got to think outside the box. Okay. The typical programming that we grew up with doesn't work anymore, because why? The country's been changed, right? There's not a lot of good jobs out there. It's just different. Doesn't mean that's only in America, though. You go to other countries, there's tons of opportunity. We get brainwashed to believe certain shit, and then we get stuck in boxes and we can never get out. And that's why, unfortunately, for most of us, especially for me in my life, it's always great suffering that leads to great growth. And I think that might be true in your case as well. So that great suffering, that despair, I don't want to be here, this place makes no sense, has led to you having the courage to do this. Okay. I promise you, I know this isn't easy what you're trying to do here. Okay. And to reach out to complete strangers like myself and say, hey, will you be on my show? That takes enormous courage and balls and desire. See, what you have is desire. I promise you, you can fulfill everything you want. You can be the next Larry King. Okay. But you got to develop a plan. And you got, in today's crazy world, as loud as it is, every other brother has a YouTube channel. Now you got to find what makes you unique and how to reach people's hearts. Okay. Reach them in the heart, and the mind will follow, the body will follow. But you got to get them here, because this is our truth meter. And this is, so when you talk about real shit like that, you touch my heart. And I say, yeah, I want to see this kid make it. I want to see him realize these dreams. I know you can do it. I would strongly urge you to read my book, take my course, download my apps, follow the simple directions, and hang in there until it happens.
Right. Thank you so much for that. Couple more questions. What is your definition of winning or success? And what does success look like to you?
Yeah. So pretty interesting question. I just did a survey, the same question on Facebook, and got a lot of feedback, and now I'm trying to write a blog around it. So success is different for everybody. Okay. You mentioned Tony Robbins. What does success look like for young Tony Robbins? He wanted to feed people on Thanksgiving because somebody cared enough to feed his family one year. So that was one of his driving motivators, right? If you're born in Syria, for example, right now, success for you means living to another day, and finding food for your children or whatever. So it's success changes constantly. Success for me when I was 20 is much different than it is at 60, right? And so I'm not sure. I'll tell you my best definition of success I've ever heard, and one that I don't know what these people would say, but I think it's positive. But I think this is a really good measure of success, and it goes like this: the true way to measure success is what your children say about you when you're not around. So, because the point being, children see everything about you, and they experience it, right? And so they're going to be able to give a more accurate description of who this person is than probably anybody in their life, right? And And so if you've lived a long life and you've raised children and the children say, yeah, this is a good man or this is a good person, and this man really cares and this man really tries, then that's an accurate description of success. And so for me, if I die and my four children say, yes, he really cared, he really tried, he really loved, and as a result, we're better people too, then that would be a good definition of success for me.
So much for that. That's really touched my heart. I got motivated not just only by your inspiration to do this, to be able to care, right? Not so many people care like you. You know, it pained me to say, but you know, I want to. There was this lady that I want to reach out, and I want to promote books, right?
Say that
And
again. Restate the last sentence.
okay, so basically, I I admire this lady, and she's spiritual, and I reached out, and I wanted to do the interview with her, and it pained me that she's a best-selling author, and she blocked me, and it hurt my feelings. And so now my other direction is also to be able to say, if people who are going to be a best-selling author, treat people with kindness too.
Well, first of all, let's talk about that. So that lady blocked you. Okay, well,
Right,
you don't know why she blocked you.
right.
Okay, number one. So you're just speculating big time why she blocked. And she might have just found out. She might have just one of her children may have just died. Her dog for 20 years may have died. Her mother may have just died. She must have just might have just found out she has stage 4 cancer. We immediately want to make it about us and jump to go. Oh, she's a bitchy. And I do the same thing. So I'm not judging. Okay, trust me. Okay. And it might be true that she just really is all bullshit and she doesn't really care about people. I have no idea. Okay. But it has nothing to do with you. Okay. You did your process. You did your work. You're trying to build this and you're building it through interviewing spiritual writers. And you reached out. She said no. It wasn't meant to be, my friend. So odds are that wasn't going to serve you. That wasn't going to move you further along on your path, on your career. It's God's blessing that she blocked you because that might have it just wasn't right timing for now. And try to get rid of the judgment and let it go. Because I'm going to tell you, I think there's probably 1 million too many spiritual teachers, writers in the world right now anyways. So you still got a lot to go through.
Thank you so much for that. Oh, before that, I really want to get this process out for people because I don't only do it for me. I do this interview for yourself, for people in general, because I care about people. What is your writing process, and how do you get it published, and or how do you get also be a best-selling author?
Yeah. Okay. So one, I call writing books my bad habit because it's a really difficult business. I probably discourage more people from writing a book than encouraging them because writing a book, you think that's the hard part, right? Writing a book is hard. Let's be honest, right? It's very hard. Okay. That's 5%. Once you've written the book, you're 5% along the way if you want to sell the book. So writing a book is easy. Selling a book is damn near impossible. I'll get these numbers wrong, but I'll give you a good idea. There's 1 million new books published every year, and out of that, maybe less than 1% sell more than 100 copies. So it's a very difficult business. Publishers, getting a publisher, very difficult. So here's my process. I'm lucky because I have money. So I wanted to write a book, so I hired a ghostwriter. And so we would meet and I'd say, okay, here's the subject, here's the stories, here's this. And then she would interview me and then she would write and then we would sit down and rewrite it together. So just because I didn't have time to really sit down and write a book. And so now that I've done that a few times, I'm probably ready to start writing my own. It's just time for me, right? And so I just take a shortcut. But the material's all mine. The stories are all mine. The teachings are all mine. It helps me to do it this way. Secondly, the first book I used a hybrid publisher, which means that they'll help you with the proofreading and the editing, and they'll help you with the the cover of the book and supposedly help you to sell it, market it, and distribute it. The bottom line is they pretty much just take your money and it's all up to you. Okay. So I was lucky in my second book is I was able to find a really good publisher, the same publisher that did the Eckhart Tolle's Power of Now. So it helps to have that. But with that said, my third book that's written that I've shopped with 150 agents and publishers, I have 150 turndowns. So, and that's painful, right? I mean, it's my best book. It's my favorite book. It's the book that I started to write initially. I just happened to write two in between. But it's personal. It's a personal thing. So every one of those rejections hurts, right? That's when I realized I was really an author because it hurt. And, but you know, the question, once again, I go back to the why. Why do you want to write this book? And don't expect anybody to ever buy it or read it because it's such a noisy world. So if you want to write a book to position yourself as a expert author, so now you can get speaking gigs, that's one reason people write books. If you want to write a book just to have a business card to say you're, you know, a lot of it's ego driven, right? So, you know, I'm sure a lot of mine was ego driven. Yeah, I want to be an author. I want to write a book. That's going to make me. None of that shit's going to happen for you. It's all about what is your ultimate purpose. So the reason I wrote my latest book, The Creation Frequency, frankly, is I wrote a little bit about it in my first book, but people missed it. I said, Jesus, that's the most important part of the book. They love this. They love this. They missed the meat. So I said, I just want to write a simple book with the meat of the law of attraction. And so that's why we did that book. But my bigger purpose, my bigger why was to sell these books and to sell my online course to generate revenue to fund my nonprofit work. So I donate $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 a year to these nonprofits, but I can't do that forever, right? I'm going to run out of money. So I want these things to be sustainable on their own. So I say, okay. And I suck at asking people for money. I'm just the worst. I don't even do it. And so, okay, I'm going to create a product that hopefully will sell, that will hopefully fund this work so it can keep going long after I'm gone. So that's, and my final book that comes out in a year was really just to honor my wife who passed away after 9 years with breast cancer. So
Right. I'm sorry about that. That's yes.
but thank you for that. But it was probably the greatest blessing for both of us that could ever have happened, for her soul and for my soul, and for really the rest of my, you know, she was 15 years younger than me, and to die at 38 after 9 years of cancer is not pretty, but it forever. She gave me the greatest lesson and blessing and love of anything. So it forever changed the rest of my physical reality here, but it changed my soul and my heart. And so my essence is so, as tragic and as sad as it was the greatest blessing of my life.
Right. Thank you so much for that. Well, at the end.
Let me add one more thing about you, okay? And this is and this is where I sometimes fall down, and I could have had a much more successful everything, is create some sort of mastermind group, some sort of accountability group. The richest times of my life is when I've been I used to be in an accountability group for, you know, spiritual growth and for character growth, which was very, very profound and helpful. But in this business world, especially the one you're entering into and the one I'm entering into, is to get some mentors that you can meet, you know, once a week, whether it's Skype or whatever, and, you know, that can say, okay, yeah, man, listen, I love this, but have you thought about this? You're doing great here, but have you thought about this, right? And where you do that for them as well, right? So that's what we're working on now, is to create a mastermind group and I think everybody is much more successful if they can bring other people to deliver real honest feedback.
Right. And people are afraid with, you know, feedback, you know, so oftentimes.
Because it hurts, right?
Yeah.
Growing hurts, right? You know, when that chicken's trying to get out of that egg, there's some serious pain going on. When that baby's trying to get out of the womb, there's some serious pain, suffering going on, right? So all of our growth comes through suffering. And so critical feedback can hurt, or once we lose that belief system, say, thank you, give me more, because what you're telling me is going to make me better. You know, we go through suffering, right? And so some people become bitter, but some people become better. And that's what we want, right? We want to take this feedback. Yeah, that was really stupid. That really sucked. Why'd you do that? How about this? What about this? Have you thought about this? Oh, great. Thank you. You know.
Right. Thank you so much. What is your process? Because I want to create a course myself too. What is your process of creating your course, online course?
Well, once again, I mean, I hired someone that's what they do, right? I said, okay, and we just work together, and writing the script and getting it organized and then filming it. So, but that's an expensive process, um, and uh, I'm just lucky that I had the money to invest in that, right? And whether I ever get my money back, we'll see. That's the mystery right now. But I had a really good why. I hired a really good person to help develop it. Now we'll see if it works. This world. I'm a car dealer, right? So this world of writing books and teaching people spiritual lessons is new to me, and it's very, very difficult world. So loud and noisy. Everybody, it seems like everybody and their brothers, selling something on Facebook or teaching something on Facebook, right? And so it's not really, it does. I really don't like that part of it. I want to help people. The problem is, to help people, you got to kind of market yourself, right? And so that's the part I don't like.
Right. I can understand that. I market myself a lot. But
All right,
uh,
listen. How many more questions do you have? Because I got to get.
I had a one more, and then actually two more, and then we'll segue. Uh,
Okay.
One is, how did you get into the car dealership?
Yeah. Okay. So this is a good story, right? So I started washing dishes at 15, and so my career was in the restaurant business. And when I met I got as high as like general manager for a fast food chain, right? And when I met the mystery man, I was waiting tables. I was divorced. I had nothing going on. And I said, one of my intentions was to own my own business, right? And I had no money, no credit, but bad credit. And there was a restaurant near my home that had gone broke, gone under 3 different times. And it was fast food, and it was chicken, which was my background. So when I met the mystery man, I said, I want to own my own business. So we wrote an intention about me owning my own business. So it'd be something like this: man, I love owning my own business. I love how it makes me feel so great every time I unlock the door and I go in and I start the day. I love how our customers love our food and our service. And I love how our employees just thrive in this healthy, positive environment. Okay. So I write this if it already exists, right? But so I've written this, and then fast forward 3 or 4 months, and now this restaurant is closed near my home. And I would go and I'd look into the window and I'd see the cash register and the counter, and I'd see myself behind the cash register taking people's money and selling them food. And and one day this idea came into my mind. Hey, put an ad in the newspaper. This is when people read newspapers, and you have people advertising them, and put an ad in there and look for investors. So I'm like 24, 25 years old, right? Even if that old. And I write an ad: fastest growing fast food franchise in the world, looking for investors. Call blah, blah, blah. This is when, people call you on your home phone. And so I raised the money and I opened a restaurant. And I got this big, crazy, rich shopping center owner to give me a lease, because I believed it was possible. And when you believe something's possible, then it comes into the physical reality.
Right. Thank you so much for that.
Power of belief. The power of belief.
Right. You got to believe it with your
You got to believe it, and then you got to see it, and then what a lot of people don't teach, you got to feel it. The power's in the feeling. There's the old saying, I think, therefore I am. I say, bullshit. I feel, therefore I am. The thinking gets me in trouble. The feeling I can trust.
That's so powerful today. Thank you so much for the lessons that you have given us and given me. And where can we find you?
Okay, so a couple things. So my website is mikemurphyunfiltered.com if you want to, learn more about me. The book and the course is The Creation Frequency. So we have thecreationfrequency.com. And our foundation is the Love from Margot with a T, Margot Foundation. So it's lovefromargo.org. If anybody wants to donate and support our work, which is working with women below the poverty line that battle cancer. And we're also now going into the Oakland community and teaching these kids the creation frequency so that they can quit being victims and create a much better life, therefore a much better world for all of us. So that's what I got going on. If anybody catches this and they want to, if they go to Amazon or Barnes and Noble and they search my book, The Creation Frequency, and on Amazon today they're selling for $12.86, and they buy that book, and then they email me proof of purchase. So they buy the book on Amazon. Amazon will give them a receipt. They email me the receipt to special offer. That's special offer at thecreationfrequency.com. Special offer at thecreationfrequency.com. Send us proof that you spent $12.86 to get this priceless book. We will then email you access to the online course for free for 60 days. It takes 6 or 7 hours to complete the course. It's a life-changing event. And then the application we've created, we spent $30,000 to create the app. We spent $100,000 to create the course. We're giving you all that for free to buy a $12.86 book, which will forever change your life if you read it and apply the principles. So just email us that. We'll give you free access to the course. The app already exists on iTunes and Google Play. Just buy the book. But once again, you got to put a little effort. You know, and the biggest thing that happened to me is I read somewhere that when you buy a book or a course or whatever, you're making an investment in yourself. You know, so I never look at, that's why it's free. I could have no money, go into a bookstore and buy $500 worth of books and never think twice about it, because I don't see it as expending money. I see it as an investment in me. And if I can't invest in me, who am I going to invest in, right? And believe me, having read all these books, it forever changed my entire life.
Yeah, but most people don't want to believe that. Most people think the author is just trying to get the money, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I
And
remember.
by the way, that $12.86, I probably make $3, and all that money goes to my nonprofit foundation to help people. So none of it goes to me. So none of this work I do to make money personally. It's all to make the world a better place for you, my children, our grandchildren, and if I ever reincarnate into this physical reality again, for me.
Right, thank you. Jim Rohn said it would be a cost if you don't buy that book, because I remember he had this powerful. It was a book, and it was so
Yeah.
powerful. Oh, before one more.
He's probably the one that taught me that principle. Exactly.
Right, one more. And how did you get? Because I was Jack Canfield was promoting your book. How did you get Jack Canfield to promote your book?
Well, one, I have a friend, Marsha Weeder, who I met at a book thing, and she was speaking. I hired her to coach me, and she was friends with Jack. She actually coached Jack. And then I signed up for another program where we could go to Jack's house, and he would coach us. And in meeting him, you know, we just created a bit of a relationship. I can't say he's my best friend, but we created a bit of a relationship as colleagues. And I just asked him, right? It's like you asked me to be on this show. I said yes. The other lady said no. But you keep asking, and you're going to build your career. If you get discouraged because she said no, you're going to end your career. So that's why you got to keep on keeping on. Eventually, if you keep on doing this, whoever that person was is one day going to reach out to you and say, hey, can I be on your show? So, you know, it's keeping the faith and staying. I don't even think you have to stay positive. You just got to keep on keeping on and keep taking action. And when you're down, you're down. And when you're up, and just work your way through it. Right. It's once again, it's not easy.
Right. It's the same thing as you get rejected by so many publisher.
Exactly.
I get so many rejection from authors because I don't have lots of subscribers, right? I don't have lots of
exactly. Right.
And
so so there's a problem, right? This is how I just want you to see how I think. Okay. Lack of subscribers. So what do? You Google, how can I get more subscribers to my YouTube channel? I promise you there's shortcuts. I promise you that people have things. Okay. And now you go circle back. Okay. Now I have 100,000 subscribers instead of 100. Right. So it's all about looking at seeing this problem and then asking the question to the creator, what, you know, I happen to call God, but people goes by many names, right? But the infinite mind, God, the creator. And I'm going to give you another great book to read because I can tell you're really receptive to this information. And this book was written probably 20s or 30s. Same last name as me, the author, Joseph Murphy. And this book probably inspired me more than any other book about this. Is called The Power of the Subconscious Mind. And I think it's probably the best book on this subject. And he has many, many more. But this one just really resonated with me, as long, all the other ones that we've talked about. But that one is really a powerful book.
I just want to say one thing. Can I say that one thing? Oh my God, that resonated me with more than that. That's how I began. I start reading The Power of the Subconscious Mind first, then after that, Think and Grow Rich, because I wouldn't
By
understand.
Joseph Murphy?
Yeah,
Wait, by Joseph. Isn't it an
yeah,
amazing book?
yeah.
Amazing book.
Amazing book. Like it teaches you like the subconscious mind is so powerful, and yet what are we doing to our subconscious? That's really
Exactly, man. So that's my whole point. Our self-talk, our thoughts, our feelings, and what we speak creates our physical reality. And that's the beauty of that book. And when you understand that, and he talks so much about the one infinite mind, where every answer to every question resides. Okay, so in his day, they had the one infinite mind. Today, we have Google. So things have changed. But the point is, access to information has always existed. Okay, before the cloud, there was the other cloud, and that's the infinite mind of God, the creator of all.
right. Thank you so much for your time. Follow him on his social media, Mike Murphy, and I know I can leave links down there too.
Yeah.
Subscribe to my channel, like my video, and I'll see you guys next time.